Hey guys, Veritas Files here. I tried to do this video earlier and I was not successful, so I'm just going to run through this quickly. Well, I say quickly, as quick as I can, winging it. Um, if you guys are interested in what you're viewing, um, on the right is American Silver Eagle circulated. That's the one I keep in my pocket. It's from 1987. Nothing significant about the date. I just always have it with me. The one in the middle is just a sort of a challenge coin of type of sorts, reminding me that I'm a Christian at all times, and regardless of what's happening, I need to behave in that manner. Um, and then the one on the left is one of those Churchill commemorative crowns from Great Britain. I do have a foreign coin collection, and I like UK coins, so I have that mostly just as a reminder. For me, he's sort of a profile of courage, and the days ahead are going to require a great deal of courage. Um, there's several things I wanted to talk about. There were videos that I watched that brought this about, but I can't really remember all the channels that I watched that were the impetus for this particular video. One of them was John over at Prepper Nation, but um, I just want to give some encouragement to those of you who are feeling overwhelmed, feeling like you can't really prep, like you're not able to do what the prepping channels do, because that's true for about 90% of people that are out there. They really can't do all the things that the people on the prepper channels do. Certainly true for me. I'm never going to be, you're never going to see me with a full on homestead. I mean, you might when I'm ancient and living with my son or something like that, but it won't be mine. I'm sure it would be his and not mine. But you're never going to see that from me because I don't have the resources to do that. I don't have the wherewithal to do that. It's just not possible. You guys might be surprised to know I don't even have a smartphone. I've never had a smartphone. My wife didn't get a smartphone until I think it was 2018 or 2019. I don't know if I'll ever have a smartphone. The computer that I use is from 2015. 7 years old, almost 8. Um, so I just don't, I don't have a lot of resources. So you guys, if you're out there and you're thinking, oh man, I need to prep, but I just can't do this. You can. If you've got $50 in a month, if you've got $40 in a month, $20, you can do it. That's what I started with, was $20. My discretionary income has never really been much above $100 or $200 in any given month, and that's assuming that I get some overtime. Normally, it's $100 or less. So that's all I have to work with to buy extra food, extra, um, precious metals, things like that. That's all I've got to work with. So when gas prices go up, it eats into that a great deal. You might say, "Oh, well, gas prices have gone up tremendously. Your $100 is gone already, isn't it?" Um, kind of. What do we do? Well, what we do is we change what we eat, and we eat cheaper. Um, there's less chicken in my house. There's less beef in my house. There's less meat in my house in general. Um, I still buy it. We still have it, but we have it less often. It may eventually cause me to lose more weight. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, it eats into it. I'm right now. I'm about to take a vacation. Guess where I'm going? I'm going nowhere. I'm staying home. My vacation is a vacation from my car. I'm not going to drive. My wife has arranged to work from home 2 days a week, and I'm not driving. Why? Gas prices, right? So if you're out there and you feel like, man, I can't do it, I cannot do it. Well, you can do it. You just have to be creative. Do whatever you have to do to get it done. You can buy a silver dime for $3 or $4. You can buy a can of food for the same. You can stack cash, which you should stack right now. You need some dry powder. You need an emergency fund. You need to get out of debt. Do all of those things. while you can. I don't know how bad this will get. I don't know when it will get bad. And by bad, I mean where your time for prepping is over. I don't know. But we are moving in a very ominous, very bad direction. I can't say, I said in the previous video that I think we could possibly be heading into the tribulation. That's a significant possibility. I don't know if that's true. I think that's true, but I don't know. But it really doesn't matter. The fact is, I see a massive storm on the horizon. We all do. And if you see it, the only sane thing to do is to prepare, is to take shelter so that you can survive it. If and when the time comes that they say, look, you need to join us, you need to put this chip in, you need to take this mark, or you can't be part of our system, what are you going to do? I mean, local county sheriff comes up to your house. Sir, we've been informed that you've decided not to do this or that. As of, whatever date, your utilities are going to be turned off if you fail to pay your taxes, and you can't pay your taxes unless you're part of the system. Your house will be taken from you by force. You'll be evicted from your home, maybe even a home that you own, and you will be on the street. You will be arrested. You will be jailed until such time as you pay your bills, whatever. That time comes, you're going to have to leave. You're going to have to go somewhere. Where are you going to go? That's the kind of stuff you need to figure out while you're preparing yourself. Those are the kind of conversations that we need to start having. And frankly, people inside of the church, little c or big C church, are not having those conversations yet that I'm aware of. I'm trying to have those conversations, but I'm one person and I'm nobody. I don't see any pastors, I don't see any leaders out there pointing us in the right direction. I think that's part of the reason that many, many people are going to fall away in the end, because they are going to acquiesce, they're going to give in, they're going to capitulate, they're going to surrender. Part of that is because they're unprepared. Part of that is because they believe in the rapture doctrine, which I don't believe is true. The more I looked into that, the less convincing I found it. People think they're going to get rescued either before it starts or in the middle of it, but I don't think so. I think we're going to be here, okay? And it's just as simple as that. This life is not all there is. If we have to endure a few years of hardship and pain, big deal. I mean, eternity is eternity. I mean, it's not really commensurable. You can't really compare forever to a finite period of time. It just doesn't make any sense. They're two totally different things. When the Bible speaks of your life being a vapor or like the blink of an eye, that's reality. I mean, our life here is momentary. It's literally momentary. In hindsight, we will be astonished by the fact that we placed so much value on the things of this world, on this time here, and so little on the eternal things. Anyway, guys, I'm just encouraging you to, whatever your level of preparation, do it. Get started. Don't stop. And start having conversations. I'm not talking about with, strangers. I'm talking about people you know, people you trust, people who ought to be on the same page with you. Talk to them. What do you think about this or that? What do you think about the fact that their artificial intelligence is becoming so much more prominent these days? What do you think about the fact that they want to implant chips in people, that they want to meld human beings with computers within the next 10 or 15 years? What do you think about the fact that they keep trying to control us? What do you think about the fact that they are using crises. Every time there's a crisis, they further their control. They put in some new method of corralling us. What do you think about the fact they have self-driving cars? What do you think about the idea that eventually they might use all of these mechanisms against us? Everything we have ever invented has eventually been abused. It's human nature, the frailty of man, sin nature, whatever you want to call it, fallenness, total depravity, whatever your term, there it is. Mankind always abuses what they invent. It's not the fault of the gun. It's the person behind it, so forth and so on. You know this. You know the shtick. So we need to have these conversations. It is super, super important, and we need to be thinking about what we're going to do when the ultimatum is given. Because if you haven't thought about it seriously and talked about it with your family, I tell you, there's a lot of people that are not going to be willing to just give up their life and say, okay, I'll starve or whatever. Okay, let's use our last tank of gas, drive to the middle of nowhere and camp out in the field. You need to be more prepared than that. Okay? One of the reasons I strongly advocate precious metals is because not everybody can do the things that a lot of the YouTube channels suggest you do. Not everybody can have a garden that makes any substantial impact on their actual diet. Most people, if they try to garden and they work at it pretty hard, they're only gonna add about 5 to maybe 15% of their annual food intake. And that's if they're doing well. Now, if you live in certain areas where you have a year-long growing season or nearly, and you've got a lot of land and you've got the ability to have all the inputs that are necessary for large-scale gardening, yes. Can you provide most or all or even extra? Yes, absolutely. But most people can't do that. Most people are not able to. 60, 70, 80% of people are not going to be able to do that. Does that mean I'm anti-gardening or anti-homesteading? No, I think those things are great. And if you're doing those things, fantastic. But your priority should be food storage, precious metals. Precious metals is stored human labor. It is time. It is purchasing power. You have to expend human labor in order to earn purchasing power. That's what precious metals does for you. I said this in the previous video. Whatever amount of monetary metals you have, that is minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years of time that you do not have to work for somebody else. And I got to tell you, everybody gets old. Everybody has things like arthritis, bad backs, bad knees, things that prevent them from doing the kind of work that will be necessary to survive in the future. Okay? If you're under the age of 45, great. You'll probably do okay. But if you're older and you're 68, 59, and you're thinking 10 or 15 years down the road, you're kidding yourself if you think that you're going to be doing the kind of work that will be necessary to survive. I watched all of my relatives who are that age deteriorate. Basically, I would say from about the age of 55 onward, they were pretty much on a downhill slide. And probably even before that, but it became noticeable after the age of 55. It became, where they just couldn't do what they used to do, period. And older than that, I mean, they literally couldn't do much at all. You get into your 70s and your 80s, you're just not doing anything, really. So this is stuff you got to think about. It's not as though we don't know when Christ is going to return. We don't know when all this stuff is going to get better, if it gets better. So we may have 20 or 30 years here. We don't know. And we all age. You have to take that into account. Anyway, guys, I hope this wasn't a bummer video, but really I meant it to encourage you to prep, have the conversations, make the plans, talk to your family. Do whatever you can to make the preparations that are necessary for your survival. Pray for your leaders. Pray for your country. Keep prepping. Thanks.